Hello everyone, thanks for joining me today. I am Nilanjan. I'm a data scientist in the optimization and control group at PNNL. And today I will be presenting one of our recent work on transfer learned models for predicting electricity consumption in buildings with limited and sparse field data. But before I start, I would like to thank the rest of my PNNL team for putting up the hard work and making significant contributions to this paper. So buildings consume 40% of the aggregate electricity consumption around the world. They also play an important role in various energy efficiency program of grid planning and operation. And last but not the least, they are also responsible for occupants' comfort. So overall, buildings make impact on economy, environment, grid services, and user comfort. So therefore, it is important to optimize energy consumption in buildings while keeping occupants' comfort intact. And literature has shown effectiveness of data-driven modeling in developing different type of such energy efficient and smart applications for building. But there exist both pros and cons of data-driven modeling. Pros include such as these models can learn complex patterns from the data. They are computationally inexpensive when compared to physics-based theoretical models. And studies have shown really high accuracy numbers with these models for both simulation and real world data in these applications. But these models have their own set of concerns as well, and the biggest being the need of the data itself. These models are data hungry and thus requires a significant amount of data to infer with reasonable accuracy. One might need to collect a great amount of high fidelity data to train these models, which significantly limits the scalability of data-driven modeling for energy efficient and smart building applications. On top of that, that field data could be highly noisy and limited in nature. Therefore, the problem statement that we are tackling here in this paper is that can data-driven models for building applications use existing knowledge to become near real time by not waiting for a large amount of training data, uh, become scalable with plug and play deployment, and finally become practically feasible. Therefore, in this paper, we explore transfer learning to make data-driven models for building applications feasible, scalable, and practical. In traditional machine learning, we typically have a domain which comprises of a feature space, which is represented here by the chi symbol, and the marginal distribution of the feature vector, which is denoted by the px. And then we have a task which consists of output labels y and a predictive function f theta, where theta denotes the set of parameters that we intend to learn from the data. In transfer learning, we have two such problem spaces that implies two domains and two tasks. And the idea here is to make use of the knowledge from the source domain in the target domain, from the source problem statement to the target problem statement. The knowledge can come in the form of data or feature representation or the model itself. For instance, in the case of building energy prediction, a building with sensors installed for a long time could be the source, and the building with the recently installed sensors could be the target. And the learnings for the new building, or also referred to as the target building in the slide, can come in the form of data samples from the source building or even a trained model. So with this existing knowledge, the trained model can start prediction from the day one without any training or minimal training. So in our framework, we implemented two such knowledge transfer techniques and mainly focused on a well-known building application, that is building energy prediction. In our problem statement, we have a simulation testbed and a field deployment. The data from the field deployment is noisy and sparse. Therefore, we want to make use of simulation data such that the model trained for the field data can start inference from day one. We implemented instance transfer by using TR AdaBoost. TR AdaBoost chooses samples from the simulation data that best describes the field data. Those samples are then combined with the field data to learn the parameters of a machine learning model. On the other hand, in the model transfer, we first train the model on the simulation data and then retrain the last two layers of the already trained model using the field data. The fine-tuned model is then used for the inference, which is denoted by f theta here. For evaluation, we collected field data from 6 commercial buildings. The data included outside temperature, energy consumption, and some other static building parameters, such as area of the building, working hours, occupancy pattern, etc. We also simulated these buildings using the FET simulator. On the right, we indicate correlation between the outside temperature and the normalized EUI. EUI here denotes the energy usage intensity. EUI is calculated by dividing total energy used by the total area of the building. In the collected data, we notice two modalities for EUI. The left one depicting the non-working hours and the right one depicting the working hours. For working hours, we further notice high EUI during the extreme temperatures, which is the top and the bottom. So based on these insights and data availability, our derived feature set included outside temperature at time t and t minus 1, working and non-working hour as a binary variable, weekday, weekend as a binary variable, and hour of the day as a 24-point hot encoded vector. We did an 80-20 split of the data for training and testing, and for baseline comparison, we implemented random forest and a feed-forward neural network. On the right side, we show the accuracy of random forest and feed-forward network across all the 6 buildings on both simulated and the field data. The models are trained on 80% field data, and in both cases, baseline models demonstrated comparable accuracy. Therefore, for the future slides, I will only be comparing the transfer learned models with the feed-forward network. So as I mentioned earlier, the problem arises when we have limited data to train the model. The figure on the left side indicates test and train error when the feed-forward network was trained on different sizes of data, starting from 1% till 80%. As one might notice, the gap between train and test error is high when the size of the training data is less, which is an indication of data overfitting. In data overfitting, the trained model is not generalizable and perform only well on the training set and not on the testing set. On the right side, we compare the accuracy of the baseline model with the transfer learning model. Again, the models here are trained on 1% field data and 5% field data. For instance transfer, the source is good samples of the simulation data, which is a big chunk of data that is available to us. For model transfer, the source is model trained on the simulation data, again 80% of the simulation data. And the accuracy is tested on the remaining 20% test data. So with transfer learning, we noticed an improvement of 9 to 10% accuracy across these models, even with 1% and 5% field data. We also notice negative transfer when we train models on the data from summer and winter time period, specific seasons, and tested these models on the other remaining seasons. So for example, one model was trained on the summer season, and then their test accuracy was tested on the remaining winter, fall, and spring seasons. On detailed analysis, we found that the model trained on extreme seasons are unaware of other kind of temperature variations, and thus a model trained in winter season can perform badly in the summer season. We didn't notice such negative transfer for models trained on the data collected from fall and spring seasons because conditions are not that extreme in those seasons. Since models trained on 1% and 5% data is as effective as the model trained on the complete data, we now don't have to wait till we collect the training data, and we can start from day one making these models really scalable, plug and play, and practical for the real world applications. In addition to the modeling effort, we also contributed Transbeam, a transfer learning framework for building energy analytics and modeling. The code is now available at this repo, the link for which is given on this slide. The toolkit currently implements the discussed transfer learning based models and the baseline techniques. In future, we plan to build it further. In the future, we also plan to improve the criteria for knowledge transfer to minimize the impact of negative transfer and explore other variants of transfer learning strategy and applications. With this, I would like to conclude my presentation. Thank you so much for listening my talk so patiently, and I am now ready for the questions. Thank you so much.